What's going on, everybody? It's full time trip. We are back in the establishment, building, dwelling, housing unit, whatever you want to call it. Arsenal nil, Brighton three, which is effectively the end of what is our title charge, title chances, whatever you want to call it. Tough day at the office at home. I got Stay Ghosted with me. What's going on, dog?
Bro, just one of them days, fam.
One of them
One of them
days, man.
days, bro.
That's
I
one
don't
of
really
them.
got a lot to say. I ain't got much energy, man. Just
Yeah.
hurt, bro.
it's
Hurt.
it's it's a tough day, man. Just I guess we can get to the season overall and where we stand later on, but just to talk about the game today, just really tough. No Zinchenko, so it's a little bit of a I guess a tougher game in terms of control. Brighton just looked
Hmm.
physically on it from the off. It seemed really physical. Unfortunately, Martinelli went off with an injury early that I guess I feel like knocked certain ways of how he played. How'd you take in the game?
For like the game today, I don't feel like we had like our usual like tempo or rhythm or whatever you wanna call it. I feel like it was a bit slow to react to certain things. Or we was like, there's a lot of moments where like I feel like certain players were just like over dribbling, like not releasing the ball fast enough. Like there was just a not a lazy sense, but just like a delay amongst the play, you could say, in my eyes, anyways. But overall, I just feel like yeah, we got outworked. I feel like Brighton just wanted it more, bro. And when the club wants it enough, and they're willing to run and run, and they outran us the way they did, bro, they're bound to win. I can't lie.
Yeah.
Just,
Ah.
they wanted it more. They worked harder. They didn't stop running.
mm.
Like they were just on it. They were helping each other. Like, bruh, how many times did Ben White have to get cooked before Saka thought, you know what? Let me help him out.
Bro.
It's only towards the end of the game, bro, where I really saw Saka like helping him out.
I will defend Saka on that. Defensively, he was actually in some really good positions. He was in really good positions, and he helped out a lot to try and like compensate in that area. But didn't
Hmm.
it didn't help in the end game, man. But Matoma was putting Ben White on everything, bro. He was putting white sauce on toast, on bread. You know what I'm saying? On
Yeah.
brioche. He was putting them on
That's
everything. Oh,
that's
and pause. And Timo's here. What's going on, Timo? Too good. I was
I
about to say,
guess.
your man missed the intro, the whole video, but it's all right. We here. How did you
I
take in the game,
listen.
G?
God. Um, Look, I think if you look over the course of the season, there's been a few games here and there that we've kind of wavered, right? And um, coming from the result we got last weekend, you wouldn't think that this would be that game, especially with the week that Brighton have had. Like they got packed in by Everton, right? So you're thinking you're gonna get your best 11 or as best of 11 as you can possibly get for this game, and they're gonna be amped up for the game. And I think straight from kickoff, you kind of just saw that the sort of energy and vibes that Brighton were going to be on. And if you haven't got 11 men that are ready to commit to the cause as the 11 of Brighton had, you're going to lose that game in a heartbeat. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, if I don't want to go into where I really feel like I'm going to grind, what's grinding my gears with this result, because at the end of the day, look, City are City are where they are, and there's a reason as to where they are, why they are where they are rather. Um, it's disappointing. It is. The Brighton 11, I feel like they are playing their hearts out to get into Europe, and
Mm.
Hmm.
that's essentially where we were a couple of seasons ago, even last season. You know, they would have had that. They would have looked at that game against Everton, and they want to have exact vengeance because they've seen how the other teams around them have performed this weekend. You know, they're not that far off Liverpool. They're not far off fifth. You know, which should guarantee them a Europa League place. I believe. I'm not sure if it's fifth or sixth. I'm trying to remember.
I
Yeah.
believe they just went. I think they might be level on points with right now. I can't even
There you
remember,
go.
but they're fighting for their lives right now, man. And
Yeah,
they play some of the best, progression build out from the back of the
boy.
ball. Credit to Brighton.
Yeah,
This ain't that though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was a little rough today. I give y'all, you know what I'm saying? I'll be
yeah.
real. The ref was a whole nother conversation. Dead food. But
Hmm.
Brighton are a good side, a really good side. A lot of people's second favorite teams. I love watching Brighton. I'll be real.
Yeah,
They're a
you get
fantastic
it's
team.
yeah. And like you can look at it from a perspective of where they were towards the end of last season with Graham Potter and how well they were playing. But I think under De Zerbi, they've been.
Different
It's
beast.
almost like
Different
it's
animal.
almost like you've got the same fuel but a different car. You know,
100%.
like you've got a different driver altogether. Like there's something that I don't know what's happened at that club, but the intake has been spectacular. The youth, the development of those players.
These men went from part-time bus driver to an F1 driver. They put Lewis
There you
Hamilton
go.
in the front seat, man.
In the space, and it's not,
Lewis
and
Hamilton
it's been
slightly
progressive.
balding, aka
It's been progressive. It's been progressive. Like it didn't start off like they played well at the start of the season, but they weren't playing exactly how they played today. You know, that's something that's taken a while to kind of get running, essentially. And I look at it from the perspective of, if you look how we were bopping the ball against Chelsea early on in the season, people were like, "Oh my god, like Arsenal are really the real deal." This was Brighton's real, like, all right, cool.
That was the real Brighton, bro. De Zerbi wasn't playing. Yeah. He backed it up. He said it earlier last week, and he backed it up. I give him credit. To that, bro. But I feel like it was more about us not being up for the fight in certain ways, man. It's just
it is gonna feel like it's a bitter taste to swallow. I'll be real. Like I'm very heavy on like optimism and not looking at the glass half full, etc. But I also think there's an element to it where
gotta be real, man.
You've got to keep it real. Like as a football fan, you've got to call it how you see it. You know, like that's without any emotion. That's without like, bro, they were the better team. They looked a lot more organized than us in most instances.
Second half.
And bro, they like. I said it from the moment one, like the way we were being pressed from the get-go. Bro, like I'm seeing there's no space for Odegaard to turn and even pass. Forget about him being able to dribble. Right. He can't turn and pass. Then like in terms of even having an outlet, like I'm not saying that Xhaka or Jorginho are not good football players in their right, but he had no other outlet in midfield. Yeah. He has to go forward and lose the ball. That's the only way we're going to retrieve the ball if they make a mistake. Like from when you have a game plan and it works like to that exact extent, we're already in trouble.
It was either A or B. And we had to go option B the whole time, play long, try and win the second ball, damn near the whole game. And I'm like, bro, we couldn't get no runs. The very few transitions we had, we missed those chances, and that's tough. And I feel like Martinelli would have played very, very well on certain ends. I feel like they had to switch. They switched Caicedo and then they switched Pascal Gross a lot of the time.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, you know what I'm saying? And Martinelli would have had a field day on either side. Estupiñán was having trouble with Saka when he got in those parts of the game, but we just couldn't get to that because they pressed so well. They were so on the front foot, and we weren't. So it's just a kick in the balls, man. It just feels like, damn, right at the finish line, like it just shows we're still frail. It's like
Do you know what?
The chip in the shoulder, bro. This I'm just saying, not necessarily in terms of I can't remember scoreline, whatever, but this feels like Newcastle from last season. This definitely feels like Newcastle.
I understand why you feel like that, right?
In terms of it's the last hurdle. That it's that final nail in the coffin. I understand it. Damn, deaded it.
I understand. I can understand why it feels like that. I feel like maybe the I think the minor differences or the reason I look at it in a different light is that we are aware of what was on the line last season against Newcastle. We've been in a similar circumstance when, you know, Emery missed out on top four, when Brighton came to us and beat us at home again. You know, I think at the end of the day, you have to look at it from the perspective of, like Arteta said even before the game, look, I'm very, very far from where I want to be with this team. Facts. But there's always going to be that element of room to grow. 100%. These players, that's like they used the fuel to get past. And I think last week's test, and I know people will say that Newcastle have come leaps and bounds of last season. I think for the same set of players to have looked into that fixture and said, we're not going to lose, regardless of where we are, and kind of go into this game short, it shows you that, right, cool, that's now the measuring stick. You've seen kind of what City are about. And that's not so from a sense of how far away you were last time, because this time you were literally a game or two games behind them. And for the best part of the season, you were ahead of them. So I think it's a thing where they've now got a balance of what it feels like to be on both sides.
That's I agree, and but that's why that's a part of the reason. I guess the first part of that is why I feel like Newcastle's like, is branding that feeling in their memory and branding where that position is in their memory. They remember where they again, as a squad grows, they're gonna remember where they were in certain moments. The season before, it was Newcastle there. And then, yo, we knew what happens when we didn't get top four. We got to make sure that I'm talking about from an emotional standpoint, not really from the logical. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold your nerve and figure out where to pace yourself in terms of season. From an emotional standpoint, this feels like, damn, we could have kept going. Anything could have happened if we kept going, but we didn't have it. They beat us at home. They beat us at our own game. When they look back at it, they're like, yo, there's a chip on our shoulder. If we get in this position again, this is where we can't fall. This is where, again, you saw how we did Newcastle this season. You know what I'm saying? Aside from that stupid ass draw we had, no Jesus. You saw we did him this season. Put him down. You know what I'm saying? So for future reference, as it keeps building on, we have that chip on the shoulder, man. Again, like I said, this squad is very young, but the fact, the downside is inexperience. We don't know nothing about nothing. So when we get punched in the mouth, it's gonna be a new feeling. You know what I'm saying? We get punched in certain ways and attacked in certain ways. It's a new feeling for the squad. But I feel like this team is quick to learn than most people realize.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you look at it from a perspective. Yeah, you have to also look at it from a perspective, like you said, they're young and inexperienced. And I feel like their first few seasons of experience and in the taste of what they've had to deal with, will only ever make them better players. You know, they have got to look at it from a perspective of, we're in hell now. You know, we've experienced that now. Now it's a thing where when we are in hell, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna overcome that?
How are we gonna dig out?
Yeah. So I like to think, okay, cool. Like, yes, there is going to be much. I think next season's going to be incredibly competitive. That without a doubt. And I'm not saying it from a perspective of what we haven't seen from teams this season. I'm saying it from the perspective of the teams around us are only going to get better. Because theoretically, I don't think Chelsea can get any worse. I also don't think the neighbours, they could. They actually could get worse with they've got no sight of a manager at the moment. United are really going to get better. And City, they are going to be where they are. You know, they're always going to be around here, but you're not going to have a conversation of winning anything without City being in a conversation. So that's that. Liverpool, again, they'll bring in some reinforcements, and you'd like to think they're going to be up there as well. And then you have your Brightons and your Newcastles. You know, I also look at this and think, a couple of seasons back, we were talking about Leicester being in the top 6, and they are now effectively, relegated. In a bad position. They're going to get relegated. So I want to say that, yes, there is room for improvement, whether it be in the transfer market or essentially how well these players, like their hunger and their desire to actually really be in this conversation, because we don't want to look at this as a one and done. This was our biggest chance. We've got to make it a regular occurrence where we're in and around the mix by May or by April. It's not very often you find yourself in a title race, at least not over the last 3 or 4 seasons, when there is a 10 or a 15-point gap. And it's by a landslide. This was a very close season between 2 very good teams, and unfortunately, the team that were inexperienced lost out. It tends to happen. It does tend to happen. Go on.
It's a shame. It's tough. You know what I'm saying? I hate that it was us.
Under P.
It kills me that there was those key points. And again, I'll probably grab all y'all and we'll do a whole season in review video another time. You know what I'm saying? But just seeing key points where we, you know what I'm saying, it's just a compound of factors that took us down, man. Again, injuries throughout the season that were extended and affected how we played. You know what I'm saying? The inclusion of certain people versus the exclusion of others. Certain, I guess, ignorance or naivety to adapt tactics or adapt players. You know what I'm saying? Or too much trust in certain situations. It's just the learning curve of the Premier League is so fast. It's so hard. Even when you're, you know what I'm saying, inexperienced, it shows no mercy to you. It shows no mercy. And
I mean, I can't disagree with that.
It's tough, man. It's tough. And we're going to get all the flack from all the people who are nowhere near title challenge season,
but that,
you know what I'm saying?
That comes with that. You know what? Yeah.
Territory.
I also think that you've got to take it from a perspective like this, right? So last season, people literally laughed us off the pitch when we lost to Newcastle. They laughed at us all summer. And then we were the ones laughing. We were the ones laughing from August up till this month. I don't even want to look at the last 6 games in regards to how those games went. Literally, until not even like literally the last 5 games of the season, we were laughing.
Yeah.
We were laughing at every other team that could literally laugh at us. Chelsea couldn't talk to us. Tottenham couldn't talk to us. United couldn't talk to us. Liverpool, sure as hell, couldn't talk to us. And those are the clubs.
Now.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They can laugh now because it's now they effectively now know it's over, right? But the laugh that they're laughing, or as much as they won't want to they won't want to agree with it or stand by it. That's got to be a sign of respect of you can see where we are now compared to where we were last season. You see what sort of threat we are to your team and where you are positioned in the league.
People who are rational will say that loud. They'll say that part out loud. The people who are rational will say that part out loud. But again, that's the main point I wanted to make out of all this stuff. Again, there's people in our fan base who would much rather attack our own players and own people and say, "Oh, this person's not good enough. This person's not good enough. We're not going to make it here." I think people are short of memory and don't realize where we have been in the past few seasons. We've been in the dirt, in the like the shambles, bro, in the tenement yard, bro, just absolutely at our lowest points. And the fact that we finally got a little bit of steam, we haven't even got the full, like, you know what I'm saying, backing of investment. You know what I'm saying? Arteta's had to come and work with basically nothing. He's had to work with the squad that had us at rock bottom and bring us back to that point. And this is only the start. We've only scratched the surface of what we can improve, who we can bring in, what we can optimize, how people can grow tactically, and that includes Arteta. There's so much.
That's something I wanted to touch on as well.
And we have not. We're nowhere near the peak, and that's
scary. That's the fear
about this.
Yeah,
bro.
but that's also the fear that everyone else in the league will have because you've seen how quickly things like. Of course, Arteta's been here for it'll be 4 years in when the new season starts, right? I think in December.
Think how much time and investment he's actually had. Think how much time he's actually backed him with stuff, and he's had to penny pitch and find alternate signings and do all this other backdoor stuff and not
then
get his way.
And then he brings in 2 players in the summer of last summer, and people were laughing at it and thinking, "Oh, like it's not gonna work out. Like he's not like Jesus in the number 9s and Zinchenko, like." All of a sudden, whoa, Arsenal playing fucking football. What the hell just happened? Right? Now, and then the level of everyone else in the team then improved. We're seeing 2 players that, by the way, there hasn't been a team in the league that have got 2 players on 15 goals and double digits assists in across any season.
There's nobody else in Europe that has 4 players above 10 goals.
Without penalties. So in my head, you then have to look at where your strengths are, and they're only going to improve. If they I'm not saying that they're going to hit the number of goals like this again, but essentially their game sense will improve. Their ability to manage games, their ability to take the game by the scruff of the neck, the ability to kill off games early. Like this is essentially, I genuinely feel, and I'm going to state this now because I know, look, season's over, whatever, right? They're going to be more ruthless next season. Because if I tell you what playing like this does.
I'm telling you, you beat me to that point, bro. And Arteta said this as well, so I'm glad he clearly sees it, bro. When we start to work out how we can start putting teams away, 3, 4, 5, the intensity, the absolute level of pace that we need to put people away, like a Man City, like Liverpool when they're feeling it, to score goal after goal and put them to the sword.
Yep.
That's when like we haven't even touched that gear yet this season.
We haven't
barely touched that gear this season,
and look how long we lasted.
And we have lasted at the top of the league for so long. Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I can call a spade and say, okay, listen, in the grand scheme, we probably bottled it. We bottled it. Cool. I'll throw my hands up and say that. But for this young squad, the second youngest team in this league, who has barely had, you know what I'm saying, again, time and investment to do what we can do. You know what I'm saying? We've led the league against a Man City side like that, who are literally this is probably the best side since 17-18. This is probably the best side since the Centurion side, if we're going to be real. Too much about them. You know what I'm saying? We're just getting started. That's my thing.
I also think people look at it, and I need to re-emphasize this point, right? You've got an Arsenal team, again, like you said, second youngest team in the league, right? And average age, I think they are like par and par, probably first in that demeanor,
I think
right?
It's like 24, 25.
If you look at the experience that each of those players have combined, and you compare them to a City team that have been pretty much close knit together for maybe the past 3 or 4 seasons, maybe 5, right? bar maybe like a couple of players, we're not worlds apart, right? I also think you've got to take into context that a young team of that average age holding City up till now is an accomplishment in itself. The fact that people thought that this is City having a bad season.
Facts. They had
they
had to claim every other excuse. They had to say, "Oh no, the league's the worst it's been in years. This
Bro,
has been that.
They threw the kitchen sink at us because of where we were,
and
now
City's won 10 straight games. Like, oh yeah, City's back, and now we're garbage. Oh, so what happened beforehand? We was leading the league. Like, they don't want to call a spade and say we're one of the most dangerous teams they've seen, and it's only the tip of the iceberg.
You ask City fans, or you ask City, like if you ask Pep, he will tell you that no, like it's not a matter of us being poor. Like, I don't think I think from an honest perspective, they won't say that, oh, we've played poorly this season, that's why Arsenal are where they are. You got to look at it from across the entirety of the league, right? Some teams have ridiculously underperformed. I completely accept that, right? And it is what it is. But the teams that have actually played well, you're not about to take credit from them. You get City, in terms of where they are and in terms of the number of goals they've scored, if you look at their point tally in their first 30 games, this was their best season ever. Ever.
Yep.
Their best season to date.
100%.
This was Arsenal's best season for about 20 years.
Oh yeah, since it's literally like this the invincible season 2007-2008. It's literally
there you go.
The three best seasons that we've had. And again, look at where the squad is right now. We're still playing Rob Turkish hairlines holding. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got rid of man yet. It's still early. It's so early.
Bro, I think that people need to, like, I'm not even saying that give us respect in regards to us being Arsenal. I'm saying just like there's a line of,
because we was lapping all y'all, man, for most of this season with an incomplete squad. That's what I'm saying. But again, we're not going to be rational. They're not going to be rational about that. They're just going to say, yes, we bottled it. They're going to look at the end result. Yes,
I can't look at
fine.
I can't look at anything.
Cool.
I think if you have to take in the entirety of what has happened with the league from game 1 to game 36.
Football fans don't do that. You know that.
They don't. But but you can't effectively say, oh, you bottled it, because at the end of the day, how many teams with that average age win the league against the super team? I don't even want to call. I don't even like calling City a super team. But they literally are a super team.
Hey, we gonna save the rest of that for the end of season review. We gonna say the rest of that for the end of season review. We gonna hold it. So I will say that I'm not really. I haven't been doing ratings for the past several videos because I'm not in the mood to rate no damn body. You know what I'm saying? It's been stress. It's been stress, man.
No, it's stress, bro.
But I will say this. For the Brighton game today. Tough went out. Really just wasn't up to it, and that's the end of it. But again, you haven't seen the last of us, bro. So you know what? I'll say overall rating of the team today. We'll give it to everybody. How y'all feel about the overall rating of the team and Arteta? You know what I'm saying? How y'all feel about the out of 10 real quick?
As a collective rating.
Can we you know what, yeah? I don't want to I really don't want to dig into the players, bro.
No. We're not going to dig into the players. No.
But I feel like the reason why it's tough for me to give them a rating right now is because I'm still quite emotionally invested in what's happened, right? But I also feel like there's also the aspect of, as much as I love the way Brighton play, like as much as I love the way they play and how they played against us today,
we couldn't.
The referee.
Oh, that
referee. No.
Oh my.
The referee really. I won't even say he played it into their hands, but like.
No.
You saw how, saw how annoyed I was getting at some of the, you know what I mean?
He's a pagan.
So
definitely a pagan.
For me, it was
I don't even want to mention ref like that, but he's a pagan. Yeah.
No, definitely. We can agree on that. We can all agree on that.
That's why I feel like I can, bro, if I want to dig into the players at any point, I know I can. On any other weekend, any day of the season, that's not an issue, yeah. Today I feel like I can't do it. Like,
that's fair.
If I want to give the team a rating, I'm gonna probably give, and this is me just based on how this game has gone. I'm probably gonna say around a 5.
That's cool.
But I don't want to say it in the sense of they were below average, completely, and I put my hand up and accept that. But I don't want to
Yeah.
then go into say like,
That
oh,
ref definitely
like,
skewed some things.
yeah, bro.
Def skewed some things. I'll
I,
be real. I
bro.
know, man. I know. It's tough. It's tough. But you know what I'm saying? That it is what it is. But again,
Bro.
I will leave it on this note. It's been a really, really overall a really progressive season.
Oh,
Sour
100%.
sour way to kind of end our title charge. Still got, you know,
Yep.
2 games just to do ourselves proud, end off on a good note and call
Mhm.
it that. But this ain't the last you've seen of us and title
Absolutely not.
conversations. This ain't
Absolutely
this
not.
is
No,
only
no chance.
this
No
is
chance
only the
whatsoever.
start of you seeing of Arsenal in those title conversations. That's all y'all
Facts.
need to
Big
know.
facts.
And
Big
if you
facts.
doubt it, you're dumb. You're stupid. You don't even know. You're just denying what you've been seeing all this time, bro. Like, keep it a stack.
Mhm.
Yes, we're young. Yes, you know what I'm saying, inexperienced. Yes, we got injured players out. Yes, we had this, that, the third. Yes, we dropped points at this, that, and the third place. But the chip on the shoulder only adds to how much ass we're going to deliver out the next time out. So it's cool. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Arsenal will be back. That's all you need to know. All right, let me know what you felt about this match in the comment section below. And we'll get to the end of season reviews. Again, I thank Ghostin and Timo for being on the show today with me.
Anytime, Brody.
You know what I'm
Come on,
saying?
bro.
That's all we got for this video today, but don't trip. We'll catch you in the next one. Yo, why?